Gentlelady yields back. Would anybody else like to be recognized to speak on the amendment? Mr. Rosendale, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, how can you ignore that emissions have actually gone up during this administration? How can you ignore the millions of people around the earth that have had clean water, indoor plumbing, lights, electricity provided to them, making their lives better, literally extending their lifespan, lifting them out of poverty by having access to electricity that's been provided by coal, oil, gas, or other fossil fuels?
See, the left wants to talk about equity, but when it comes to the billions of people in the developing world who rely on fossil fuels for survival, suddenly they go silent. They don't want to acknowledge the positive impact fossil fuels have had on human development. Clean water, safe homes, refrigeration, hospitals, basic infrastructure, all made possible through reliable, affordable energy.
It simply can't be ignored. Their lives are better, their lives are longer as a direct result of that. So to sit there and say that we should be trying to eliminate these fuels is absolutely absurd, ridiculous. The desire by this administration to shut down our domestic energy production is causing prices to escalate, forcing Montanans to make difficult decisions about heating their homes or simply putting food on their table. And those are facts. Many people overseas are harvesting the remaining timber that exists in their country, having access to, in order to burn firewood, in order to heat their homes. This is bad for the environment and terrible for those who are forced into those situations. Unfortunately, my colleagues across the aisle have been extremely selective about when they would like to use science-based information. How about if we start using science-based information about managing the population of grizzly bears in the state of Montana, which populations are at 300% and 400% of the target populations, so that we can delist these animals? How about if we use science-based information and allow the state of Montana to continue to manage our wolf populations, which are 10 and 12-fold beyond the target population?
Folks, this is what common sense conservation looks like. It's not about abandoning our energy backbone or gutting our industries to make climate activists feel better. It's about smart stewardship. Managing forests, protecting communities, and providing jobs. All of that can coexist. And let's be honest, how many times have we heard that a policy isn't about banning something, only to see that exact outcome a few years later?
And how about if we allow forest management practices that would prevent millions of acres from burning each year, absolutely ruining air, land, and water quality across the state, across the nation, and start using some best management practices on how to take care of those forests, which would not only help keep our air, land, and water clean, but it would also help the economy, provide jobs, and be better for everyone who's connected with it. For all of those reasons, I will be opposing this amendment. Thank you very much.
Chairman.
I will yield the balance of my time to my friend from Wisconsin. Thank you.
I would just, if I may, pose a question to the gentle lady. When you use I think the term is impact that is in your amendment. When you say impact, does that include doing a rigorous study of the positive impacts? Is it looking at both sides, that there has been effluent, there have been emissions, and we need to account for that, but there's also been benefits. When you say impact, do you mean both sides, positives and negatives?
Thank you. And will the gentleman yield?
Mr. Chair, I would yield an answer to the representative from New York.
Yes, I'm not sure if there's confusion about the substance of the amendment, but the amendment is specifically about an assessment on the health and safety impact. If there are practices that are revealed to have positive health impacts on the communities, on impacted and frontline communities, I do not dispute the inclusion of any positive health impacts. I believe that we should have information on things that may improve people's health, but of course, there is a large degree of concerning information about the potential health impacts, breathing impacts, cancer exposure, et cetera. And this amendment is not saying stop drilling. This amendment is not speaking to that issue in this moment. This amendment specifically speaks to the collection of data of health and safety on frontline and vulnerable communities that would be nearby these sites.
May I use a balance of the time, gentlemen?
I yield back the balance of my time to...
AOC says it's not about stopping drilling. But we've seen this game before. The left never attacks fossil fuels head-on. They regulate them out of existence. That's why Rosendale's defense of American energy was so important. He brought real-world consequences into the conversation. Montanans struggling to heat their homes because of rising prices. Families choosing between food and fuel. People overseas burning timber because they don't have access to fossil fuels. And while the left obsesses over carbon footprints, they forget the human footprint. Lives improved. Lifespans extended. That's not a footnote. That's the story. Rosendale laid it out: reliable energy, responsible forest management, and using all the science, not just the bits that fit a narrative. The left says they want to save the planet. That's fine. But let's not destroy lives in the process. You can't build a cleaner future on a foundation of economic hardship and government overreach. Let's stop pretending fossil fuels are the enemy and start treating them, and the people who depend on them, with the respect they deserve. If you agree, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay sharp, stay free, and stay informed.